everybody, and welcome back to the Three Sided Box podcast. Today we are jumping into the NHL Eastern and Western Conference Finals playoff edition right here, the addition to Prediction Center, which for those who have not watched it, go watch our prediction video. It's in the description and it's somewhere on the channel. Came out probably either the day of this video or before, so go check that shit out, where we give our predictions. Where you'll probably hear it again here, but if you want to just hear that, you go there. And I'm with Michael today.
What's up?
And Johnny's not here, but I got his picks and I got some little bit of reaction. But yeah, both of our teams are in the fucking conference finals.
Top four.
Who'd have thought? I definitely didn't predict either of that.
I did. I definitely did.
But yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words because I really don't know
How it happened.
how, why, where, when, whatever. So before we jump into that, let's just do a little recap of the previous series. I guess we'll start off with the most recent one to finish, the Anaheim Oilers one, which was arguably the most entertaining one, most back and forth. Yeah, Ducks 1-7. I predicted that, but I definitely didn't predict the Oilers to be so persistent, to be an actual threat. But I definitely didn't feel like they had the team to really like push over the hump and just really get to the West Final.
They were close.
They were. I don't deny them that, and I give them all the credit they deserve. But I don't know. I definitely didn't feel like they were there just yet. I feel like they're still 2-3 years away from being like a real top contender in this league. Say what you want about Cam Talbot, good or bad. I personally don't think he's that great.
He played really well. He was like one of the if the Oilers were gonna win Game 7, it was gonna definitely be because of him. He made some big saves at really crucial times. Unfortunately, the puck just didn't bounce their way that game, and nor did it bounce throughout the whole series. I feel like I'm still a little bit. I'm not salty because it's not my team. I don't really care, but I still feel like that Game 5 was really. That was pretty BS. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty BS. That was definitely goaltender interference. But I will say that it's very hard to see that in a moment. In
I don't know about that. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that. I just Kessler was pushed in by Nurse. Nurse was on top of him, and his eyes were clearly on the puck. He wasn't looking at Talbot. He wasn't trying to put his hands on. His hand went in there almost right from the get-go.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about making an attempt after you.
Yeah, but when the puck is 3 feet away from you and there's a mad scramble and you're trying to tie the game.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the situation. It's by the word of the law of the NHL. It's considered goaltender interference. I'm not trying to be that guy. That guy was like by the book, but. It is goaltender interference. I understand it's a hard call to make, but I just feel like they got a little bit gypped there.
I don't know.
I think it was if it was definitely one of our two teams, if that happened to, we definitely you would definitely be saying it's goaltender interference if that happened.
I don't think so. Honest to God, I really don't think so.
I definitely think so.
It depends who was in the box. If it was Gallagher, or fucking I don't know. James Neal, then yeah, I most definitely will be against that shit. But if it's fucking like, I don't know, Kessler, all right, and against Ottawa, I definitely wouldn't be 100%.
He's a piece of shit. Let's be honest.
I like him a lot. So
you go like I think he's a great player. I just think he's a piece. Anyways, point is that was a really good series. I definitely think the Oilers didn't have the puck bounce their way. I felt like if they got a couple bounces.
But that's the playoffs.
No, I know. I understand it's the playoffs, and a lot of it comes down to like sheer luck or just having being at the right place, right time, whatever you want to say it. The Oilers didn't have that, clearly inexperienced, but look, they brought a veteran team, a hungry team, to the brink after they had a lot of rest, and they really impressed me. I'm really I'm rooting for them in the future, but it's the Ducks that move on. In the end, it comes down to one game, and the Ducks prove that their experience paid off, and they quote unquote exercise those Game 7 demons.
Which I'd actually like to touch on that.
Go ahead.
Bring that up. the Ducks prior to this were 0-4 in Game Sevens. Which I find very hard to believe.
Well, not 0-4 in game, but 0-4 after going up 3-2 in the series, having a chance to close it out on the road, failing, and then winning Game 7 at home. In recent history,
they've been 0-4. But anyways, Carlisle was not there for any of that, and I'm not the biggest Carlisle fan. He stole a cup from me. He went to Toronto and became public enemy number 1 or number 2 after Michel Therrien. But the guy is not Bruce Boudreau, who's a perennial choker, who I'm pretty sure at least 2 to 3 out of those 0-4s were his doing. And people forget that the Ducks have been very dominant for the last 10 goddamn years since they won the fucking thing. Alright? So, for those idiots who think like, oh, it's been, they just can't get it done, they got it fucking done, and they were never not going to get it fucking done. As much as the Oilers were a threat, you can't say that, like, history was on their side this time. Like it's one thing to be like the Capitals and to just not be able to win anything in the second round. And to be like, oh, this team's 0-4 when leading 3-2. It's like, they won a goddamn cup with these guys. Like, are you stupid?
It's like they
stop feeding into the fucking media. Stop sucking TSN Sportsnet's fucking dicks.
They didn't play a bunch of scrubs when they played.
Yeah, exactly. Look at their opponents.
They played the Red Wings in 2013, and that was a really tough, hard fought series, and the Red Wings brought the eventual Cup champion Chicago to the brink in Game 7 of overtime, in which the Red Wings probably should have won, but we're not going to get into that. And then in the next year they played the Kings, who obviously have eventually won the Stanley Cup. And then the next year they played Chicago, who eventually won the Stanley Cup. And then last year they played my Preds, who were obviously giving them a run for their money, and Rene was basically immortal in that Game 7. So a lot of good teams that they played. They didn't play any bad teams in those series. So you can't just say that they straight up choked like what we saw with the Caps.
So there you go, everybody. So for those idiots, and I'm calling you straight out an idiot, you could dislike the video, you could unsubscribe, do whatever the fuck you want. This is my opinion, it's my show, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. They're not chokers. The Ducks are not chokers. They never have been chokers. There's long history of them not being able to win Game 7 after leading blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up, alright? Shut the fuck up. Let's move on. Ducks win. The other West matchup, Blues Preds, your series, so here's the floor.
I mean, it was a really tight affair. Obviously the Blues were there to limit our speed, hit us a lot, try to just rattle us. And they kind of did in Game 1 with Fiala getting injured. If he was there, that'd be amazing. But yeah, it was a hard-fought series, a lot of bumps and bruises. I gotta give a lot of credit to Alexander Steen. I know you don't like him, but you gotta say he's a warrior. He played with a broken foot.
I don't give a shit.
He played with a broken foot. Ever since round 1, he was on a walking boot and crutches after every single game. Never practiced. Still went to the game. Still showed up. Still played really well and was in the hard areas. He was not just coasting the whole game. He was in the hard areas. So I give him a lot of credit. I like Alexander Steen. The Blues overall played a pretty good series. Defensively, Jake Allen played well. We were just a little bit better. That's it. It's just as simple as that. It was one of those series where it could have gone either way if either team got a couple bounces, but I felt like the Preds earned a little bit of their bounces. I feel like their talent and their speed took over a little bit more than the physicality of the Blues, unfortunately. For them and fortunately for me. So, like I said, good series. I look forward to the next one now.
Well, to touch on some of those things, the Blues, I didn't think they played well at all. I think they got outclassed almost right from the get-go.
Oh yeah, they're leading. What was it? Not even a period total in the series. It was like mostly Preds leading. Then then it was tied for a long period of time too. And then it was basically the Blues were leading for like 10 minutes or whatever it was, or 20, whatever that. I don't know. I know it was almost less than a period or some of that. So I feel like they're always playing catch up against us. We got the first goal, and even when they did that one time in Game 6, they just couldn't close it out. I just felt like the speed took over. And credit the Blues though. They lost Backus, they lost Oshie, and they lost Shattenkirk, and they still made the playoffs. and they still went to round 2 and brought you know a really good series. Every game was pretty damn close. I think, if I'm not mistaken, most games were 1-goal games. So I give them a lot of credit, but I feel like they just need to get more dynamic. They're too big and slow. I feel like they just need to get a little bit faster.
Well, I think the Blues need to fucking figure out what the hell is going on. I feel like they have no identity, that team.
No,
I feel like
they definitely
really,
do. It's defense and checking and dumping, jump, dump,
yeah,
and
but
chase.
I don't know, it just hasn't worked. It's just
I know, but that is their identity. But I feel like they need to evolve into the new NHL, which is getting more skill and speed based, and mobility is key. They have some good players. They could definitely make the playoffs next year. I just don't know. I just don't know what seed they're gonna be at next year. Well, whatever.
But the other team in the fucking playoffs in that series was Nashville. And, James Neal's a bitch, irrelevant. PK Subban, playing decent, but still not that something to cry about. And then you got fucking Mike Fisher, my boy, born June 5th, former Ottawa Senator. I'm a Sens fan. I'm born June 5th, so we share an eternal connection. And he's the only guy that I want winning a cup on your team. Everybody else I could not give two fucking shits about. So maybe Weber was the problem.
No.
Maybe Weber was the issue.
People are putting too much emphasis on that trade, and I get it. I feel like it's benefited both teams in to some degree for different aspects of the game, but I feel like the trade is really blown out of proportion. I just think the Preds are just a better team. That's it. It just comes down to that. And a lot of people are saying, well, you guys have basically got the same team. Yeah, but guess what? We're more experienced. Fiala came up and is playing amazing in the playoffs. Unfortunately, got injured. You got guys like Sissons stepping up, to the plate and doing all these great things. Everybody was just a year older, a year more experienced, hungrier. It just kind of all fell together. And I'm not saying Subban's irrelevant. I'm just saying that I don't know what would happen if we had Weber. I think we might even be in the same spot. I don't know. I feel like there's too much emphasis put on this trade, and people just need to get over it and move on. Weber's my favorite athlete, let alone hockey player ever, athlete ever, and it's really and I got over it. So people just need to wake up and stop bitching and just fucking get over the fucking trade. It's really frustrating, But yeah, good team, mobile defense, and I'm really, really, really we're on fire. All of our defensive players are really clicking now, and Rene is a man possessed.
Yep.
So
we'll see.
I look forward to next round.
All right. What?
Pause it.
All right, moving now to the Eastern Conference. We'll start off with the.
We didn't do the Preds though.
Yes, we just did the Preds.
We didn't talk about the matchups between the Ducks and Preds.
We're gonna go through a recap and then we're gonna talk about everything.
Okay, I got it.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
This
why?
is your first podcast?
I don't know. Fuck, shut up.
I said we're gonna recap. Anyways, all right. So Pens, Caps, Caps briefly turned it on. Briefly had a little bit of a showing that they're not complete playoff garbage. Didn't last long. Only lasted about 2 games, and in Game 7 they completely decided not to show up again.
Caps fashion.
I don't know if it was a lack of urgency, if it was a lack of.
It was definitely lack of urgency.
I don't know. It was just, or did the Penguins really turn it on that much? It didn't seem like they were any different than the last couple of games. I don't know. It was a sad attempt, and something needs to change on that organization. I don't know what. Personally, I think it's a coaching change. I think they need to change the culture. Not Barry Trotz is a bad coach, but it's been proven in Nashville and now in Washington. The guy cannot get past the second round. He's Bruce Boudreau minus the extreme choking, because Boudreau does it to a whole nother level. But Barry Trotz fails all the time in the playoffs, and I'm sorry, he can never galvanize his team to just be like, you know what, no, we're going to win this one. I find he's just that coach that just walks into the locker room and he's like, just do a good job today, guys. Play your best, and just leaves. I feel like that's the type of coach he is.
I don't know. To me, it's. I understand what you're saying, and maybe I'm biased. I love Barry, I love Trotzy, but I don't know. To me, it's more personnel. I just feel like when it comes down to it, it's the players that kind of decide whether to show up or not. Like there's
Yes,
only so
absolutely.
much a coach could do.
100%.
When I'm sorry,
You
and
can't fire your players, and that
You
team
could
is
trade
too
your
talented
players.
to fucking dissemble.
they're gonna have to be because
Disassemble.
they have a bunch of UFAs and RFAs that they're gonna have to sign. So definitely there's gonna be a little bit of retooling that's gonna have to be done. And Ovechkin's only getting older along with Backstrom. So I don't know, man. It's a fucking joke. I watched the last 5 minutes of that third period. Well, I watched the whole game, but the last 5 minutes of that third period was the biggest fucking pathetic joke I've ever. They couldn't even get into the zone. They couldn't get into the zone for 5 fucking minutes. They got in at like 30 seconds. There's only maybe like a handful of players I saw giving effort. It was like Justin Williams, who was like making saves. Holtby at the end was playing really well, and he clearly was frustrated at the end of the game. I felt like he played a really solid game. Obviously the Hornqvist one maybe he wants back, but overall pretty solid game. And I don't even know what the hell's going on with their defense. Like that defense is fucking pathetic. And like JB goals, like those are the only guys I see fucking giving effort. Ovechkin is soft along the wall. Backstrom is soft all the time. I mean, John Carlson and fucking Niskanen are fucking cones. Useless. And I feel like everybody on the Caps defense looks the same. They're the same tape. They're all fucking 6'5" and up. They're all 230. They could all move. They all have a good shot, and they have no fucking resiliency. That's like the MO of the Caps. I know you can't really measure intangibles, but you need to find fucking better leaders in that locker room. Who I mean, if Justin Williams can get a fucking point or a goal in a game 7, that's when you know there's a fucking problem. That's when you know you cannot fucking win. It's a fucking joke. Honestly, the Caps are a joke. Really, really, I thought it was gonna be like a really good game. They showed up in the first and second period. They played well. After the Hornqvist goal, which was early in the third period, there's plenty of time to come back and win the game in regulation. They do fucking nothing with it. So you know what? I honestly, I'm done with this. This team is like it's the same fucking story every year. This team's too talented not even to go to the cup final. Just to go. They can roll 4 lines that can all fucking score. Roll all defensemen. One of the best goalies in the league. Great coaching, and they still can't win. There's no excuse. No excuse anymore. And I'm really fed up of hearing about them, and I really, really, really hope that they're never gonna make the playoffs unless they completely dismantle this team. That's not gonna work.
And then you have the Penguins, defending Stanley Cup champions.
Who injured? Everybody's injured on their team. What do they? They fight to the fucking end, and they fucking win. That's what happens because you find a way when you're a team. You find a way to win, and that's what they do. That's what champions do. They find a way to win despite injuries, despite bad bounces, despite adversity. They still came out and played their game. Not a perfect game. They need Fleury to make a lot of good saves, but he came out to play. He wanted to win that. Crosby came out to play. He wanted to win that. Russ came out to play. Hornqvist came out to play. It's just. It was so disappointing. I was really looking forward to like an overtime or just like a lot of fight in that team, and like I just didn't see anything. It was just like really, really.
They got outclassed. Plain and simple. That's it. The Caps just don't know how to play hockey in the playoffs. They don't know how to turn it on. They don't know what it's like to be like. This is what it takes to win. To them, they think everything's gonna fall in their lap.
And a lot of you are like, I feel bad for Ovechkin, and like I was like that last year because I saw that he was putting in the effort last year. I saw that he was really giving it all. Like this year, I'm sorry, he didn't do fucking anything. He was soft everywhere. He was soft along the boards. He was in spurts. He came, and the guy has so much talent. He has a big body. Like why are you so fucking bad when it comes to that? Like, I just don't get it. Like, there's no leadership in that locker. There's no accountability in that locker room. There's nothing. Justin Williams is like the one guy I actually saw doing something, and he's not even a fucking long-time Capital. He's a fucking LA King, basically, and like a Carolina Hurricane, and like, there's just no fight. This is really like, it honestly disgusts me. It makes me sick when I see that, and I was really ticked off after I saw that game.
Alright, and let's move on to the last matchup, last recap. My Ottawa Senators against the New York Rangers. I guess I'll start off by saying how proud I am of this team, the resilience and the hard work and dedication that they've put in to come in the clutch moments. Pajot is a beast. We got, Carlson was playing on a god tier level with 2 fractures in his foot. Imagine if he was fully healthy. Mark Stone and Hoffman had a really, really bad opening round. A really bad first 4 games, but the last 3 they turned it on. They started scoring some goals. They're starting to play like themselves again. Kyle Turris, the last 2-3 games also played phenomenal. Started hitting people, started shooting the puck more, winning faceoffs. My God, his faceoff percentage made no sense. Him, Pajot, and Brassard were winning so many faceoffs. It made absolutely no fucking sense. Anderson was rocky for most of the series. But the last game, game 6, he stood out and he fucking played rock solid and he knew what he was fighting for, and that's that sense of urgency that I like, that unaccepting of losing, that you come out and you're gonna win no matter what, and I was proud of that. Dion Phaneuf, playing rock solid D all playoffs. Mark Mathot, pretty solid. Freddie Kleisen, whatever you pronounce his name, pretty solid. Ben Harper, whenever he was alright. Chris Weidman, garbage, complete garbage. Cody Ceci, garbage, complete garbage. He had a couple of good moments, but for like 90% of the game he was shit. The guy's a turnover machine. And Chris Weidman, the second he gets the puck, he just shoots it. Like, he doesn't try to make a pass, doesn't try to create a play, he just launches it as far as he fucking can. And the addition of Chris Neal to the lineup in Game 5 and 6, he didn't play much, but he had an impact, and people could say like, "Oh no, he didn't." No, he did. You know how I know? Because after Game 5, everybody knew how many minutes he played to the exact second. It was like 2 minutes and 36 seconds he played total in Game 5. And Tanner Glass and Alain Vigneault were saying this shit, but then saying that it didn't really matter, and that he, how can you play those kind of minutes and have an impact? Well, the fact that you know how many minutes he played, because I guarantee they didn't know how many minutes Carlson played, or Turris, or fucking Mathot or Phaneuf. They didn't know. Why? Because they know they're on the ice and they're impact no matter what. But they knew Chris Neal, even though he was only on for 2 minutes and 36 seconds, they knew exactly how long he fucking was on. Why? Because he had an impact. He got in their head. And even more so, he galvanized our troops. He got them to play together and play to win. He's essentially he is the last piece of that 07 run. He's the last remaining Ottawa Senator legend of the 2000s. Like you look at like a team like in soccer, like Chelsea, you have Drogba, Lampard, Cech, and Terry. Who's left? John Terry. That's it. These are legends of the early 2000s, and for Ottawa, it's very similar. We had Alfredson, we had Redden, we had Neal, we had Phillips. Who's left? Chris Neal. He's the last guy left. He's the last hope of that former thing, and I hope we win it all for him. And by winning it for him, Alfie gets his moment, because Alfie's still involved with the team, so he would get his name engraved on it. But he would, he would win it in spirit of that old team, that 07 run team. That was just absolutely a beautiful fucking thing 10 years later. But back to the series. Much respect to the Rangers. Nothing but love for them except for Rick Nash. That guy sucks. Everybody else, nothing but love. They played a hard-fought series. I'm shocked we won. I thought we were going to lose in 5 or 6, especially after Game 3 and 4. I thought it was over. Zuccarello played so good. Zibanejad played really well. Lundqvist played amazing. I know Habs fans are still salty as fuck that he basically became the king again. He's the king of second place. Well, Price is the king of fucking nothing. All right, so there you fucking go. All right, and yeah, much respect for them. They played hard. Girardi, man, that guy played hard. Fucking McDonough played fucking hard. We just capitalized on their mistakes.
Brady Shea,
I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but he played well. And it was a hard-fought victory. And as Carlson said, excuse me, I have to burp. As Carlson said at the end of Game 6 to Pierre Maguire at the post-game interview, that we were good. We were better than the Rangers 3 out of the 6 games. And one of those games, and the other game that we won, we had Pajot. And what a 4-game performance in Game 2, man! What a fucking game! Yeah, that guy is. If your team wears red, white, and blue, watch the fuck out, because he's the Hab killer and he's the Ranger killer. If he played football, he'd always beat the Patriots. He'd be that one guy that could just
we
dominate.
need him on the field. We need him there.
Philly should fucking sign him. Bring him to fucking Philadelphia, play for the Eagles. Anyways, so Ottawa, I'm very proud, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm very nervous for the upcoming series, and I'm kind of scared. But we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about the series. I basically touched on everything.
Pesky Sens, that's what it was.
We're not the pesky Sens. We're the Ottawa Senators, and we have a godlike defenseman. We have a goalie who, when he plays well, he's basically he's a tier 2/3 goalie, Anderson. But when he's on, he could play tier 1 level. The problem is that he doesn't play that level consistently, and that's why he's not a tier 1 goalie. I'd say he's tier 2 because he has his moments where he's tier 3, tier 4, but he's a tier 2 because for the most part he's pretty solid. And considering all the crap he went through this year, you can't blame the guy for having a couple of bad games. But we really need him to step up going forward. With that, let's move on to the East and West finals. We'll start off with the West. Preds Ducks rematch of last year's playoff, and a couple of years back too when Ray Emery was their goalie. I still remember that.
Oh yeah. And Dan Ellis.
That was quite the duo back then. Hey, Ray Emery's still probably he's top 5 favorite goalie of all time. I love that guy. That was my boy, Razorblade, man. If you listen to this, you're my fucking boy. I love you. I got your shirts, I got your posters, I got your pictures, I got everything, man. Nothing but love for my boy Ray Emery. So go ahead, talk about your series.
I don't know what to talk about. This is so many things. I don't know. Should be an interesting one. Obviously the whole thing last year. I really hope that there's no revenge factor for the Ducks, where they have that little boost because we beat them last year. I don't know. I don't want to say anything that's gonna jinx my team, but whatever. I'll fucking.
That doesn't. You know what? I realized something. There's been years where I've said nothing, and there's been years where I've said all kinds of shit, and nothing ever fucking happens. And you know what's funny? The last time I predicted a final, all right, in 2007, and you could ask my friends Ricky, Johnny, and Franco because they were there for this. I predicted Ottawa Ducks Stanley Cup final. It actually happened. It didn't go my way, unfortunately. This year, as a joke, when Guy Boucher got hired, I said Preds Sens final. There's a 25% chance that could happen. So,
we'll see.
Jinxing shit means nothing. Okay, it doesn't affect how they play. Trust me.
I think that the Preds are just are the deeper team. I think we have more speed. I think that I respect the Ducks. You have to respect the Ducks and their talent. They have great talent. Getzlaff, Raquel, Perry, Kessler, Silverberg, Cogliano, Vatanen, Lindholm, Fowler's playing really well. But to me, the key in going far sometimes is just having a solid goalie. And I feel definitely right now, as of right now, the Preds have the better goalie. Rene has
Gibson
godlike save percentage. He has a 955
Gibson's like
save
Anderson,
percentage.
where he's on and then he's off.
Anderson. The thing is with Anderson is that he'll steal you a game. But
I think that's also because Anderson's a veteran and Gibson's still really
true.
young.
Yeah, he's really young. Like I said, I wish him all the best. But I don't know. I'm not a big. I never was a big fan. I always thought Frederik Anderson because we're talking about Anderson. Frederik Anderson, former Ducks goalie, was just better. I understand Gibson is younger. But I don't know. I just felt like he was more consistent. I feel like with in this series, the Preds just need to bombard the net. Just literally shoot all the time, and try to get goals. That's all. Just try to get early goals. If we could steal one in Anaheim, we're 9-0 in the past 9 games at home.
I think the Oilers proved that you could win in Anaheim. The Calgary Flames shit the bed in Anaheim.
But the things with me is that we can't get arrogant that we made history for our franchise and that we got to the conference final. I'm not satisfied, and the players don't seem satisfied. But I've seen it throughout the season where we're on a 3-game win streak and then we lose to the fucking Coyotes 4-0. And it's really annoying. I know it's the regular season, this playoff is different, but I've seen inconsistency is what I'm trying to say. So we just need to keep at it, keep doing what we're doing. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Just everybody, if everybody's on their game, and everybody on Anaheim's on their game, I still think we have an edge. I think we have an edge. So if I had to give a prediction, I would say Preds in 6. I think.
Yeah, that was my prediction too.
I think it's gonna be a tight one. I definitely think it could definitely go 7. I think definitely Anaheim could win it, but I don't know. I'm pretty confident in my team right now. I think we're the hottest team in the playoffs. I think we're one of the most talented teams in the playoffs, top to bottom. I think we could roll 4 lines. I think we have the best defense in the playoffs and definitely in the league. I think we have definitely the hottest goalie in the league right now, and he's very motivated to win a Stanley Cup because he knows he's getting older. He even outright said it. He's like, I'm getting older. I need to do something. So I got the Preds winning that one, so you could go ahead and say whatever you want about the series.
Well, I was going to predict the Preds in 6 too, but like I said in the prediction video, I don't know, there's just I picture the Ducks in the final. I don't know why. I just see the patch on their logo, on their jersey. I just see that Stanley Cup patch there. I don't know why. I don't see the Preds there for some reason. But I'm still predicting the Preds to win it in 6.
I think it's because we haven't seen the Preds even get there yet.
It's not even that. I don't know. I just see Kessler and Silverberg. I just see them fighting for the cup. I just see it there. I don't know. For some reason, I'm being told in my mind that they're going to win the cup again. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I just see it there for some reason. But I'm going to still stick with the Preds because just based off the fact that they've been playing a lot better and they've been winning in a lot more easy fashion than the Ducks have been, at least in round 2.
One thing I want to touch on is just because the Ducks obviously have been more battle tested. So I want to see just when the Preds are down in the game and they have to play that stingy defense and that stingy whatever, like that, the Ducks team, how are we going to react? Like I think we'll react very positively and we'll have a chance to come back, but I'm curious to know if that inconsistency is going to come back to bite them there.
The thing you need to watch out for the Ducks, and it showed in the Oilers series, is the fact that they don't give up. They'll be down 7-0, 2-0, 1-0.
That's the thing. They're battle
don't
tested.
Stop. So
they know they could come back from like any deficit basically because
Exactly.
of that. Whereas the Preds didn't really have to in both series. We came back from 2-0 against Chicago, but that was in a whole third period. It wasn't
but you
like
beat a team that does that on a daily basis in Chicago.
Yeah, and
they literally don't give a shit what the score is. They're still gonna come at you till the final horn goes.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know. It's gonna be I think a series, and I don't mean in terms of talent. I just mean in terms of like play style. To some degree, I think it's gonna be similar to the Blues because they're very physical, they're very up in your face, they check, they hit anything that moves, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good series. I just think that our speed in today's NHL, especially in the playoffs, comes so big, especially with fatigue. If you're playing a fast team and you have to catch them all the time, yes, maybe in the first 3 to 4 games you're gonna be hitting them, but eventually you're gonna be worn out too. You're gonna be tired. And eventually the series is gonna get near the boiling point and you're gonna be tired. So I don't know. I see my team just playing well and going on to the Cup final. I could see it go either way, but I don't know. I just picture. I don't know if it's arrogance. I'm trying not to be arrogant. I respect the Ducks, but I don't know. I just see my team moving on.
Let's get to the other member of this crew, Johnny, who predicted Anaheim to win this in 5 games.
Yeah, but let's
He's
be honest.
extremely disrespectful again to both of our teams.
Let's be honest.
More so to yours than mine this time.
Definitely more.
Because he picked the Rangers in 5 last series
He
result.
also picked the Hawks in 4,
Yeah.
and the complete opposite happened. So to me, I hope everybody.
It's his birthday tomorrow on May 12th.
Yeah.
Wish him happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I hope everybody picks against my team. I hope there's more people like Johnny who just always underestimate us because I want that. I want that underdog factor to be in play. We don't have home ice. We are already kind of an underdog. We need a little bit of like a chip on our shoulder to continue doing this. So, like I said, I'm hoping my team's ready to play. I think they're ready to play Game 1 against the Blues, and they had a lot longer rest. And they just beat their arch rival in 4 games. So I think we'll be ready to play. I think we'll be ready to win this one.
Well, we'll see. Let's move on to my series now. Ottawa, New York, Pittsburgh. Excuse me. I'm still stuck in the past. Still can't believe we got past the second round. So, I'm just gonna start by saying this, and this applies to you too. I don't want to be that team that, like I said this in the video, that just goes to the East Final and then doesn't really do much with it. You know, he like doesn't grow on it. I don't expect them to go to the East Final every single year, but I expect them now to make the playoffs every year going forward. You know, for the foreseeable future, and to make to be an actual threat. Unlike the Habs and the Coyotes, who went to the finals twice, the Habs and once for the Coyotes, to the East and West Final, and they've done fuck all because they're garbage. I don't want to be that team, and I feel like that's becoming a bit of a trend now in the NHL, especially in the East.
Oh, with the parody.
I don't know. Anyways, so I just want Ottawa to be a good team. I'm really nervous for this series. Pittsburgh is a strong ass team. At first, when we first moved on, I initially wanted the Capitals to be there because I felt like if they're gonna choke, maybe they'll choke in the East Final. But then I thought to myself, like, if they're gonna get past that hump, I think they're just gonna keep rolling with whatever they did at that point. But anyway, they lost.
They're the type of team that's gonna run into another blockade after the next
I don't know, because they always have Ottawa's number, man. They've been killing us ever since 2007, man. They've always had our number. And then they have Pittsburgh, who always also has our number, but the matches are a bit closer, and we do beat them a little bit more than we beat the Capitals during the regular season. But the last 2-3 times we played Pittsburgh in the playoffs, they've killed us. And then you go back 10 years ago when we killed them in 5 games to go to the Stanley Cup final. No, it was 5 games.
5?
Yeah, we got swept the year after when they won when they lost in the final to the Red Wings.
Oh, okay.
And then they beat us again the year after.
In like
whatever it was, yeah. And then they beat us some other time, I think a couple of years back, can't remember. Yeah, I think it was when we played Montreal in that lockout year, and then the next series was Pittsburgh, and then they beat us. So there you go. They're banged up, their defense is banged up, and Fleury's playing pretty well, but I feel like there's some chinks in his armor that we could expose.
High glove.
And I think if Guy Boucher could really come up with a good game plan, galvanize the troops and execute, and if like I said earlier, if Mark Stone and Mike Hoffman could stay the way they've been playing the last 2-3 games, score goals, set up plays, we're going to be fine with them. Kyle Turris could keep doing his hitting, his face-off winnings, and just produce chances for us, we should be good. If Carlson could stay the way he is, not get even more hurt, who knows? This is Pittsburgh, they always destroy our defensemen. Matt Cook took out Carlson a couple years back, and then Crosby fucking ripped Mathat's finger off a couple of weeks back. If we could say that like this, if Phaneuf could keep playing the way he is, Mathat playing the way he is, Kleisen playing the way he is, we should be good on defense. Ceci and Harper and fucking Weidman need to fucking shape up. Those guys have been huge liabilities for us. Anderson needs to stay the course and play the way he did in Game 6 versus the Rangers, and most of the series versus Boston. I don't know. I feel like we're probably going to lose in 6, but I feel like if we could steal a game in Pittsburgh, we could win this one in 6 also. So I'm actually going to predict Ottawa in 6. I'm going to predict the Senators in 6. I don't know. I feel, like I said, I feel some magic in the air. I don't know what it is. Because look, this is the situations for me right now. Okay, as a human being, all right, me personally. Forget anything else. All right, this is just me talking right now. So you have Ottawa, 10-year anniversary from our Stanley Cup final appearance. All right, so that's one thing. All right, then you look at the other fucking side of the coin. All right, you got the Ducks and you got the Preds playing against each other. So we got the Preds, who could be a matchup that would cause warfare in this household.
Yep.
All right, fucking battle lines will be drawn, and it will be hell for about 2 weeks in this house. All right,
probably more after the winner is declared.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be a very long summer for one of us.
Yeah.
And then you have the other team, the Ducks, the team that Ottawa faced 10 years ago in the final. So if Ottawa wins, there's a lot of shit on the line for me personally. And then if we play the Ducks, you have the Bobby Ryan fucking the Silverberg trade, which is also something. And then there's something else I wanted to say and I forgot. God damn it.
The Ted year?
Oh yeah, no, not just that. And then the Stanley Cup final, usually Game 5, 6 is played around June 5th, which is my fucking birthday. So there's always a lot of emotion involved with this. The Ducks won the cup on June 6th. All right, the day after mine and Mike Fisher's birthday. You imagine how fucking hard that was? But then I had my little cousin that was born on that same day as well. So it was kind of a very bittersweet day. There's a lot of shit riding on this for me personally, as a Senators fan, as a human being. And there's a couple stuff for Senators fans in general. Like I said, the 10-year thing with the Ducks and Mike Fisher with the Preds. You know, there's a lot of stuff riding on this. So I feel like there's a bit there for Ottawa to go, other than just the underdog thing. There's a bit more to fight for. Pittsburgh are the champs. They know what they have to do. Ottawa has to fight, and we're going to grind out. We've only won games by 1 goal. We've never won a game by more than that. Well, we're missing Game 6. We won 4-2, but it was an empty netter.
White knuckle games.
All right,
you're gonna do that like this the whole game.
Yeah,
punching
exactly.
your fists.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just there's just something about it. Like I think Pittsburgh is gonna win. Ultimately, I do think they're gonna win. But I think Ottawa does have a chance if we could still win in Pittsburgh, and if we could keep home ice and just keep winning at home. Because look, in Boston, we were really good on the road. In New York, we couldn't win fucking shit.
Besides the last game.
Yeah, okay, but that's also because I think we knew what was on the line, and they refused to let that happen. Now we need guys like Brassard to step up. That guy's called playoff brass, all right, in New York, because he performed in the playoffs before. He performed really well in round 1. He got 8 points, and by really well, I use that term very fucking loosely because he was a liability on many of those plays. But because he kept scoring, you know, you could throw it underneath the rug a little bit. But in New York, the guy barely fucking showed up. Yeah, he was a joke for most of the fucking series. Game 3 and 4, he was one of the main reasons why we got torched, because of his fucking laziness.
I'll say this. Good news for you is that Pittsburgh is banged up.
Yeah, which played a huge part against Boston because they were banged up and we took advantage of that.
So like, I mean, if you guys could. Thing is with Pittsburgh and the problem I see it poses is not even like Crosby or Malkin's line. To me, it's that third line of Pittsburgh you're gonna have to put out Ceci and Weidman on that third line. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, but Ceci plays with Phaneuf, and Weidman is the 6th/7th defenseman.
Okay, well, who's on your last pairing then? Who is it?
Well, right now, it was Weidman and Kleeson, but it's been Weidman Kleeson or Kleeson Harper or Harper Weidman. We've been flip flopping.
Regardless of who it is, I don't think that's nearly good enough.
And Borvievsky too. He's usually the 5th guy.
Isn't he injured or something?
Yeah, exactly. But that's why we've been flip flopping our last pairing.
Okay. Well, hopefully he comes back for you guys. I think he'd be, big asset. But the key is that what pretty much won Pittsburgh the cup last year was that third line.
Yeah.
But they flipped it up a little bit. But regardless, it's I forget who's. I think it's like Bonino. Who else is on it?
Bonino's not playing well. He didn't have a great series against Washington.
Regardless,
ever since that flop, that fucking loser shit that Don Cherry rightfully called him out on, which I actually agree with him for the first time ever. It ruins the integrity of the game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he should have sold the fact that he got hit in the face, but he really fucking went all out after. That's what pissed me off. He was grasping his face if he got shot.
I'll be honest. It sounds hypocritical, but if that was my player that did that, I would 100% be okay with it. But if that was the team I was facing, I would be.
I'm not mad at the fact that he pretended he got hit. Okay, that's fine.
The
it was
exaggeration.
It was after the fact where he was grabbing his mouth as if he was fucking bleeding, and the refs had to check if he got hit in the fucking head. But when Rick Nash fucking spears fucking Hoffman in his fucking face and he needs 8 stitches and that doesn't get fucking called, give me a break. Okay, give me a. You're ruining the integrity of the game. And I was never a fan of Bonino either. That's just from his Ducks days.
I'll just.
Looks like a fucking Amish idiot.
I'll just say this. The third line, I forget who's on it, of Pittsburgh. I think that's gonna burn you. I think that's gonna really burn you guys when it comes to that.
I think they're gonna be playing Ceci and Phaneuf against them a lot.
Yeah, but then the second line is gonna burn you guys.
I think if we could contain Crosby and Malkin, I think we wouldn't have an issue with the third line.
You can't contain them.
Maybe not contain, but slow down a little bit. Crosby's a little banged up. He's not flying at 100%.
Look,
and I think you know what it is. I think if Carlson could step up and control the game with his puck movement, I think he could eliminate those guys out of the game. We've beaten. I know it's regular season, but we've beaten Pittsburgh in the regular season.
You can't. I'm telling you from now, you cannot eliminate arguably the 2 best players. In the game.
I don't think we can eliminate it. I think we could control them. They're gonna score. When they're scoring 3 to 4 a game, I think we could maybe stop them at 2.
Even with the 2000 Devils defense, you won't be able to contain them. And you guys, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to insult you guys have a decent 3-4 defensemen, but you have 2 that are liabilities.
3? Philadelphia is not a decent 3. He's a very, very good 3.
No, that's what I'm saying though. You have a solid 3-4. You have a very solid 3-4, but it just you have two guys that are fucking liabilities. Like even the Preds, who I think have the best defense in the league, arguably. I don't think we could contain Crosby and Malkin if we play them.
It's
impossible.
We need to outscore and contain. I think that's the goal. It's just keep Crosby at bay and use and execute on our chances. Execute on the power play and execute on whatever in the zone.
No, you there's a lot of stuff I feel like that has to go your way. Like when you get a power play and you have like let's say 2 a game, Pittsburgh has 4 and they don't score on any of the 4 and like let's say it's like 2-2 and those like and you're away. Like and there's like 10 minutes left in the game. Like you need to fucking score that power play.
We just
you need to score first.
Play
number
catching
1.
Up. Exactly.
You need to score first
exactly.
in the series. If you guys score first, I'll give you a fucking shot. But
because the trap game is terrible when you're chasing. Because that's what Boucher plays. He lives and dies by the sword, and we'll be fucking losing 2-0. We're still playing the trap. We're not pushing hard.
One thing I will say is that Guy Boucher has come back from a 3-1 deficit in 2011 with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and beat Pittsburgh, the defending. No, almost 2 years after they won the Stanley Cup. So, I think that there's definitely a chance. I think Guy Boucher knows what he's doing. I would trust what he's doing. I just think that the depth and talent level.
Yes, they outclass us 100%.
It's just going to be too much.
Other than Karlsson, we have nothing that could even hold a fucking torch to any of their guys. I agree 100%. But I feel like if he could take over the game...
He might. That's
I think he could do it.
He's clearly the X factor.
And he's hungry as fuck. He's getting married this summer. And I guarantee... You know what would be the cherry on top of that fucking perfect fucking wedding? Bringing the Stanley Cup with him. Alright? I think that... And Karlsson, he's 2 years left on his deal. What would make him even more rich? Stanley Cup fucking champion.
Well, the guy's definitely gonna be one of the highest paid players ever.
Yeah. Well, you know, a Stanley Cup ring to his resume.
You better give him like a blank fucking check.
I would. I swear to God, if I was Eugene Melnyk, if he
you
lets
better
him
give him
walk,
like ownership of like of the team.
I think because Alfie's involved with management too. There's no way we're gonna.
He's
let
not.
him
No, Karlsson. I don't think is the type of guy. He's too. He loves Ottawa too much.
We thought Alfie did too, and then he straight up left and said that the Red Wings have a better chance of winning the cup, and then we went further than them in the playoffs. So
I don't know. We'll see. Look, I hope I wish all the best for Ottawa, but I don't know. I just think that like there's too many things need to go their way.
Well, look, Boston was a good matchup. New York was a good matchup. Now I think we're outmatched. So now it's gonna be a true test of resiliency.
I think even with New York, you're a little bit outmatched.
A little bit, but it's definitely it wasn't that big of a gap.
No, it wasn't a gap. It wasn't a huge gap. I just felt like
and again, Karlsson took over the series.
Exactly, but
he needs to
at
do
the same
again.
time though, the New York defense is fucking really old and slow.
They're old and slow, but they play to their strengths, and when they took over a game, we couldn't fucking catch up.
Yeah.
Minus game 2.
But you guys are such a team of momentum. Like I feel like if like
they just need to not take their foot off the fucking gas. If they could just okay, guys, we're winning 2-0, and we're gonna keep fucking pressing. We're gonna keep trying to score. No, this is what Ottawa does. Let's just throw it off the boards, bank it off the boards, hope it gets out. Cody Ceci and Chris Weidman need to wake the fuck up. It doesn't work. All right.
You're gonna
fuck.
You're gonna be playing with fire though in that series because if you do press a lot, what Pittsburgh likes to do is leave a guy at the top of at least if they think they're gonna get possession is to immediately go for the stretch pass and all these things.
Well, that's what New York did a lot, and they fucking killed us a lot with that.
Exactly. So I mean, like I just think they have so much speed,
Ottawa
so much
fucking
talent.
plays with the left defenseman always pinches up, and the left wing plays defense. They play that, or the right side, one of the two. They always play that style.
Yes, maybe in that transition, there's going to be a little opening. I don't know. We'll see. I said Pittsburgh in 6. I think it's going to be a really good series. I think Ottawa has a fighting chance, but in the end, I just think that there's just too much talent to contain.
I agree,
even
but that's why I just feel like if we could steal one in Pittsburgh, I think it opens the series.
You need some
up
magic.
completely.
You need some magic.
And there's been magic in the air.
There has been magic
and
in the
it's
air.
10 years since the last time we felt anything like this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be fun, and my expectations for this are we're gonna lose. So I'm not gonna get as pissed when we do, if we do. But I felt we had a bigger chance. Obviously, I felt fully confident against Boston we could beat them. I felt slightly confident we could beat New York. I feel. I'm like 51% Ottawa, 49% Pittsburgh, but that's only because I'm a Sens fan. I can see Pittsburgh even winning this in 5. But I think if Ottawa could steal one
Again.
in Pittsburgh and keep home ice, I think we could win this in 6.
And I would agree with that because Pittsburgh has the injuries that go.
So do
against
we,
them.
though. So do we, though. Carlson's fucking injured, man.
No, I know, but Letang's not playing. Daly's
When
not
is he
playing.
playing?
Okay, but when he does, he's a
Yeah, I
fucking
know.
factor.
I know.
So Matt Murray. I mean, I know Fleury's doing a great job, and basically. It's
Matt Murray's back, though. So if Fleury fucks up, they're going to throw him right back in. He backed up Fleury.
No, I think Fleury is. I think they're gonna ride the hot hand.
I do. I'm not saying they're going to throw
That-
Murray in. I'm
that's
saying
type of guy
Fleury
Sullivan is.
fucks up.
Yeah,
Let's
if he
say he
fucks
lets
up
in
bad.
6-7 goals. They're going to throw Murray in right away.
Oh, for
Anyways.
sure. Like I said, I'm hoping for a good series. I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm really happy. I'm basically 100% in most. No, I'm not 100% as well, but I'm close to 100. I'm 100% for the conference final prediction. I
You're not. We just started.
meant like who's gonna go to the conference final.
Okay, yes.
So second round, 100%. I guess you could say. But yeah, it should be a good one. It's kind of cool how both of our teams are in it. At least both of us are gonna experience the same stress. We're gonna both watch the games. I've never been to the conference final. I've never experienced it as a
This
fan.
is my 3rd time watching.
Exactly. So
We're
like,
the most successful Canadian team for the last 20 years, so eat a fucking dick. Montreal, Edmonton.
that's true. But
I'm not saying forever. 20 years. That's it.
I'm hoping both our teams could maybe move on, face each other, and hopefully the best team would win in the end. But like I said, life is sometimes just
Shits on you.
brings you so close, but yet so far away. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, look, maybe because the NFL fucked us with the Raiders and the Eagles being on Christmas Day, which
Yeah,
we're supposed to go watch that game, and obviously we probably will not now. Maybe the gods of sports were like, you know, let's give them a final together. At least let's give them that.
Yeah, but like,
Because then we could go watch that. Yeah, but still, like, at least we could go say, because we're probably going to go watch that final. Man, we're jumping the fucking gun, because probably in the end it's going to be Pittsburgh versus the fucking Ducks.
I hope not.
So it's going to
That's
be
the
a
one thing
Burt
I don't
fucking
want.
bowl.
That's the one thing I don't want.
I don't know, whatever. Anyways, all right. So go enjoy the playoffs, guys. Enjoy the West and East finals. Go check out our prediction video if you want to see us just make the predictions. If you don't want to listen to this whole thing again, just in case you weren't sure who we thought we got. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully Johnny will be here for the final. I'm sure he will. I'm sure we'll find time to do one, and we'll see what happens with that. Happy birthday, Johnny, because this video's probably gonna come out on the 12th on your birthday. So you know. So that's your birthday present. Is a nice podcast. So there you go. Anyways, all right. So thanks for thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. We know it was a bit long. Hit that like button. Share with your friends. We love the support. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And throw your comments down below. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's have a little conversation. So thank you so much for listening, guys. We'll see you all in the Stanley Cup final. Take care. Peace.